The company's history dates back to 1865, when mining engineer Knut Fredrik Idestam founded a small paper mill in Tammerfors, now Tampere, in southwestern Finland. His company was renamed Nokia AB in 1871. At the end of the 19th century, co-founder Leopold Mecklen's plans to expand the business into electricity generation and cable manufacturing diverged from Idestam's ideas. In 1896, Idestam stepped down from the management of Nokia AB, and Mecklen, who took over as president of the company, was able to push his idea through to the shareholders. In 1902, electricity generation became one of Nokia AB's activities. Founded in 1898, the rubber products company Finnish Rubber Works gained control of Nokia AB, and the cable manufacturing company Finnish Cable Works. Founded in 1912, in 1922, and in 1967, these three companies officially merged into one 12. In order for this operation to comply with Finnish law at the time, Finnish Rubber Works and Finnish Cable Works formally merged into Nokia AB, the smallest of the three. The merged company had five main areas of activity: the production of rubber products, now Nokian, cables and electronics, wood processing, and electricity generation. Over the years, several secondary activities were added, such as the production of hunting rifles, plastics, and chemical materials. The new company was involved in various types of manufacturing, at one point producing paper products, car and bicycle tires, shoes, various cables, televisions and other household appliances, personal computers, electric generators, robotics, capacitors, military communications equipment and gear. The Sanomalate M90 encrypted text communicator, and the 61 gas mask for the Finnish Army, plastics, aluminum, and chemicals. Each production facility had its own director, who reported to the first president of Nokia Corporation, Baron Westerlund. As president of Finnish Cable Works, he was responsible for establishing and organizing the company's first electronics department in 1960, investing in Nokia's telecommunications future. Since the early 1980s, the company has been actively developing and manufacturing electronics, which was facilitated by the acquisition of a number of electronics companies. In 1987, consumer electronics became the company's core business, and it became the third largest television manufacturer in Europe. At the end of the 1980s, the company fell into crisis, which was exacerbated by the general decline in the global economy. The crisis was overcome by restructuring the business, abandoning most activities, and focusing on new technologies, in particular, the development of the telecommunications division. In 1988, Nokian Rencat, which had been its rubber division since 1967, was spun off as a separate company. Since then, Nokian Rencat has had no connection with Nokia. In 1960, and to develop the first commercial modem, and in 1963, Bell System released the first radio telephone. However, conservatism still reigned in the industry, with electromechanical and analog switches in widespread use, and no one thinking about switching to digital. Nevertheless, the company made a bold move and developed a digital switch based on pulse code modulation. In 1969, Nokia became the first company to release PEM transmission equipment that met the standards of the International Telegraph and Telephone Consultative Committee. Entering the digital age ahead of everyone else, Nokia made the most important strategic decision in its history. In the 1970s, the Nokia X200 digital switchboard for automatic telephone exchanges was released, enabling the company to successfully enter the telecommunications market. The versatility of the device and the flexibility of its architecture allowed the company to produce various communication devices based on it. Participation in some of the technologies that preceded mobile cellular systems were various Xerox pre-cellular mobile radio telephone standards. The company had been developing commercial and military mobile radio communication technologies since the 1960s, although this part of the company was sold shortly before the subsequent rationalization of the company. Starting in 1964, Nokia collaborated with Celera to develop high-frequency radio broadcasting. 2 years later, the companies began developing ARP, one of the first cellular communication standards, which was used in the autoradiopuhelin car radio telephone and served the first commercial cellular network in Finland. The network was launched in 1971 and covered the entire country 7 years later. The merger of Nokia and Celera in 1979 resulted in the creation of Mobura Oy. Mobura developed mobile phones for use in the Nordic mobile telephone standard mobile network, the first fully automated first-generation cellular network launched in 1981. In 1982, Mobura introduced the first car phone, the Mobura Senator, for ANT 450 standard networks. In 1984, Nokia acquired Celera Oy and, having acquired 100 of the company, renamed its telecommunications division Nokia Mobura. In 1984, the company released the Mobura Talkman, one of the first portable phones, weighing 4.7 kg. In 1987, the company introduced the Mobura Cinnamon 900, a phone for use on ANT 900 networks which could already be carried in the hand, weighing 760 grams. The phone's battery took almost 4 hours to charge and provided 50 minutes of talk time. The Mobura Cinnamon 900 cost 24.0 Finnish marks, approximately 4,560, but despite its high cost, the phone was in high demand among business people for whom owning the new device was a sign of wealth. Nokia mobile phones became extremely popular in 1987 when a photo was taken of Mikhail Gorbachev calling the Minister of Communications in Moscow from Finland using a Mobura Cinnamon phone. After this photo was taken, the phone became known as the Gorba. In 1988, Jorma Nieminen resigned from his position as CEO of Nokia Mobura, and together with 2 colleagues founded Benefin Oy. A year later, Nokia Mobura was renamed Nokia Mobile Phones. In 1989, the company sold some network equipment to the Finnish operator Radiolinja, and in 1992 it released its first handheld XEM phone, the Nokia 1011. The world's first phone call using Nokia equipment took place on July 1, 1991 in Helsinki. This historic call was made by Finnish Prime Minister Harri Holkeri via Nokia's XEM network using a prototype Nokia XEM phone. In 1992, the company released the world's first XEM phone, the Nokia 1011. The model number corresponded to the phone's launch date, November 10, 1011. The Nokia 1011 did not have the signature Nokia tune ringtone. It first appeared in 1994 in the Nokia 2110 series phones. In 1992, the company's advertising slogan became "Connecting People." Personal computers and equipment. In the 1980s, Nokia Data's computer division was engaged in the production of Micromico personal computers. With the release of this computer, the division attempted to enter the business P market. The first model in the Micromico 1 computer line was released on September 29, 1981, around the same time as the EBMP. However, in 1991, the computer division was sold to the British company International Computers Limited, which was later sold to Fujitsu. Fujitsu marketed the Micromico computer line under the Ergopro brand. Fujitsu later transferred its computer production to Fujitsu Siemens Computers, which closed its only factory in the Finnish city of Espoo in the Kilo district, where computers had been manufactured since the 1960s, in March 2000, thus ending large-scale computer production in the country. The company was also known for its Kurt and Lucht monitors under the Nokia brand, but this business was sold to ViewSonic in 2000. In addition to computers and monitors, Nokia was involved in the production of cell modems and digital-to-receivers. In 1992, the new CEO Jorma Ollila made a key strategic decision to focus exclusively on the telecommunications business. In 1994, Nokia President Jorma Ollila finally formulated the company's strategy to abandon its old business and focus on telecommunications technologies. This strategy enabled the company to become the world's largest manufacturer of mobile phones. Nokia's market share at the end of 2009 was estimated at 39%. Nokia 1208 mobile phone back in 1991. More than a quarter of Nokia's turnover came from sales in Finland. However, after a strategic decision in 1992, the company's sales increased sharply in North and South America and Asia. The explosive global popularity of mobile phones caused a logistics crisis in the mid-1990s. This forced the company to change its entire logistics infrastructure. By 1998, thanks to its focus on telecommunications and early investments in some, Nokia had become the world's largest mobile phone manufacturer. From 1996 to 2001, turnover grew from $6.5 billion to $31 billion. The company's well-oiled logistics were one of Nokia's main advantages over its competitors. In 2004, the company released its first highly successful touchscreen phone, the Nokia 7710. In May 2007, the company announced that it had sold more than 200 million Nokia 1100 phones, which went on sale in 2003. It was both the best-selling phone and the best-selling electronic device of all time. In November of the same year, Nokia released the Nokia N82, the first N-series phone with a xenon flash. At the Nokia World Conference in December 2007, the company announced the Comes with Music program. Nokia phone buyers were given the opportunity to download music for free for 1 year. In the second half of 2008, the service became available by subscription. In May 2008, at the annual shareholders meeting, it was announced that, in addition to its core business, the company would also engage in internet business. Google, Apple, and Microsoft were not direct competitors of the new Nokia, but they were still considered important players to be reckoned with. In November 2008, it was announced that the distribution of mobile phones in Japan would be discontinued. In December, deliveries of the Nokia S21 from Net Docomo and SoftBank Mobile were cancelled, but Nokia Japan retained all of its global research and development projects. In September 2010, Olli-Pekka Kallasvuo was replaced as CEO of Nokia by Stefan Elop from Microsoft. Soon after, Windows Phone became the main operating system on Nokia devices. In February 2011, work on the MeeGo project was discontinued. The MeeGo developers left Nokia and founded Jala, which released the Jala smartphone as the successor to the 900, and the partially open Selfish as based on Mir and free MeeGo components. In December 2012, the company's management decided to sell its headquarters to Exilian Capital for $170 million and lease it back as part of senior management's policy of divesting non-core assets. Sale of Microsoft's mobile business. On September 3, 2013, Microsoft announced the purchase of Nokia's mobile phone division and related patents. The purchase price was described by journalists as shockingly low. Nokia's mobile device business was valued at $5 billion. With an additional $18 billion expected to be paid by Microsoft for patents owned by the Finnish company. On November 19, at an emergency meeting of Nokia shareholders, a vote was held, with about 90 of investors approving the board of directors' decision. In connection with this, a protest demonstration was held in China. The deal to sell the mobile business was planned to be closed in March 2014, but it only happened on April 25. Microsoft began to gradually phase out the use of the Nokia brand for its smartphones and mobile phones manufactured by the mobile division it had purchased from the Finnish company. The Nokia brand was officially replaced by the Microsoft Lumia brand. Returned to the mobile business in July 2015, Nokia CEO Rajeev Suri announced that the company was planning to release its own smartphones in 2016. On May 18, 2016, it was reported that Microsoft had announced the sale of its mobile phone division to Chinese company Fia Mobile, a subsidiary of Foxconn and the newly formed HEM Global, for $350 million. At the same time, Nokia's official website announced that Nokia Technologies had entered into a 10-year strategic partnership with these two companies for the licensing, development and promotion of mobile devices including feature phones, smartphones, and tablets under the Nokia brand. On February 26, 2023, Nokia updated its logo for the first time in 60 years. Management explained this as a desire to move away from its association with mobile phones and move into a completely different field of activity: business technology. The designers moved away from the classic white and blue shades and now use a different color scheme depending on the purpose. In 2024, HEM Global abandoned the Nokia brand, introducing its own name, slogan, and redesigned social media accounts, and began independently producing smartphones after 7 years of using the Nokia brand. The first model under the HEM Human Mobile Devices brand was the TU-1585.